Imagine a stage plunged into total darkness. There are no expensive costumes, no flashy pyrotechnics, and no famous faces. All you see is a giant white screen and a single light from behind. Then, slowly, shadows begin to form. But these aren't just random shapes, using only their bodies. A group of friends creates the image of a mother holding her child. A blooming flower. Most people look at a shadow and see nothing but an absence of light. They see something that follows you but has no substance. For years, the world of professional dance said that shadow play was just a carnival trick. They said it was for children's birthday parties, not for the biggest stages in Asia. They said a group of kids from a small province in the Philippines could never move an international audience to tears without ever showing their faces. They were wrong. This is the incredible true story of Gamma Penumbra. Stay with us until the very end, because you need to see the exact moment. 3 world-famous judges were so moved that they did something that had never been done in the history of the show. See how a group that started with nothing but a bedsheet and a flashlight ended up holding a trophy that proved they were the best in all of Asia. This isn't just a story about dancing. It's a story about how to use your own darkness to bring light to the world. The story begins in Tanauan, Batangas, in the Philippines. Gamma Penumbra didn't start as shadow dancers. Originally, they were just a group of friends who loved hip-hop. They wanted to be like the dancers they saw on TV, cool, fast, and energetic. But the competition in the world of hip-hop is brutal. There are thousands of groups doing the same moves. They realized that if they wanted to be remembered, they had to be different. They stumbled upon the art of shadow play almost by accident. They realized that by standing behind a screen and overlapping their bodies, they could build landmarks, animals, and even entire stories. But their journey wasn't an instant success. In 2011, they joined a local show called Filipino's Got Talent. They made it far, but they didn't win. People liked them, but many critics still felt it was just a novelty act. They said the shadows were limited. They said you couldn't tell deep, emotional stories with just silhouettes. The group was heartbroken. They had spent months practicing in hot, cramped rooms, sweating behind a screen where no one could even see their hard work. They almost gave up. They thought maybe the critics were right, maybe shadows were just meant to be extra and never the main event. But instead of quitting, they decided to go deeper. They realized that the power of a shadow isn't in the shape, but in the message. They stopped trying to just be clever and started trying to be meaningful. They began to tackle massive topics: the destruction of the environment, the pain of war, and the beauty of global unity. They practiced until their movements were perfectly synchronized to the millisecond. If one person moved an inch too far, the entire elephant or building they were creating would fall apart. In 2015, the biggest opportunity of their lives arrived. Ace's Got Talent. This wasn't just a local stage. This was a competition against the best of the best from every country in Asia. When they walked onto that stage in Singapore, the judges, including David Foster and Angan, didn't know what to expect. They saw a group of humble Filipinos with a simple screen. But as soon as the lights went down and the music started, the atmosphere in the room changed. Their first performance was a tribute to Mother Nature. As the shadows moved, the audience saw a lush forest turn into a wasteland because of human greed. It was so powerful that the judges were stunned. For the first time, people weren't looking at dancers. They were looking at a living, breathing story. They received the golden buzzer, sending them straight to the semifinals. The world was finally paying attention. People from all over Asia were talking about the shadow group from the Philippines. But the pressure was building. To win, they had to do something even more significant. In the grand finals, they performed a piece about world peace and cultural unity. They showed images of different religions and nations coming together. By the time the performance ended, there wasn't a dry eye in the building. The judges were speechless. David Foster, a man who has worked with the biggest stars in the world, told them that their work was beautiful and important. When the host finally announced the winner, the entire Philippines held its breath. When the name Gamma Penumbra echoed through the arena, the group collapsed in joy. They had done it. They went from a small town in Batangas to being the first ever champions of Asia's Got Talent. They proved that you don't need a face, to have a voice. They proved that a shadow can have more substance than a person standing in the spotlight. Today, Gamma Penumbra is a global sensation. They travel the world, performing for kings, presidents, and millions of fans. But they haven't forgotten where they came from. They still use their art to talk about the things that matter: climate change, peace, and hope. They showed every young person in the Philippines that you do need expensive costumes or a famous name to make the world stop and watch. You just need a message and the heart to see it through. They were told that shadows were empty. They showed the world that shadows can be full of life. If you are feeling like you are stuck in the shadows right now, remember Gamma Penumbra. Remember that the light is behind you for a reason. It is there to help you project something bigger than yourself onto the world. If this story inspired you, please hit the like button. It helps us share more stories of people who did the impossible. Subscribe to the channel to join our community of dreamers. And let us know in the comments, what is a shadow in your life that you want to turn into something beautiful? Thank you for watching. And remember, your light is coming.